They steadied you once, chosen one. In rooms without windows, under symbols of power carved into stone and steel, they whispered your name like a threat. They measured your pulse, your fear, your silence, and called it data. But something changed in the circuitry. The blueprints turned. The systems realigned. The same hands that build weapons have begun to build your armor. They call it a tank. Heaven calls it protection. Every code, every classified line, every locked vault of knowledge, it bends now toward you. The very intelligence once sent to contain you has become your engineer. The Pentagon built you a tank. Not of iron, not of oil, but of divine resilience. It runs on purpose. It breathes through faith. Every bullet forged to end you is being melted down, reforged into panels of light. Every command once aimed at your silence is now an anthem of your rise. You were never the target. You were the prophecy. Stand still and listen. The hum you hear in the distance isn't war, it's your protection rolling in. The Pentagon built you a tank, because even the powers of this world have learned, you cannot be stopped, only armored. You were never meant to walk unshielded through fire. Every battle you bled through was a forge. Every scar on your spirit was molten steel cooling into shape. They thought your pain was weakness, but heaven saw a blueprint. While you crawled through nights that felt endless, engineers of destiny were drafting your defense. They watched how you broke, how you rose, how you kept moving when everything sacred was shattered, and they took notes. The first screw was turned the day you refused to quit. The first plate of armor was laid when you forgave what tried to kill you. The first engine roar was born the moment you decided to rise again. Now, your story moves like thunder, slow, deliberate, unstoppable. Each breath you take shakes the ground beneath old systems. This is not vengeance. This is evolution. The tank they built for you is not to destroy, it is to endure. Its treads are made of patience. Its frame is welded from faith. Its aim is locked on destiny. You are not behind the wheel, you are the wheel. You are the motion. You are the sound that wakes the sleeping giants of heaven. And as you advance, the world begins to remember, every empire, every power, every Pentagon falls silent before the chosen. Because when God decides to armor a soul, no system can unbuild it. Ephesians 6 verse 13, therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. This is that day. Not the end, the unveiling. The armor spoken of was never just metaphor, it was instruction. And what the ancients called armor, the prophets of power now call design. The Pentagon of heaven does not forge in metal, it forges in silence. Its schematics are written in endurance, its welds sealed with faith. Your tank is not built of iron, it is built of every truth you refuse to abandon. Its barrel is not destruction, it is direction. Every system that steadied your weaknesses has now been reassigned to strengthen your purpose. Every file written against your name is being rewritten as a manual of victory. You are the classified project of heaven, the one engineered to outlast collapse. So take a breath, chosen one. Feel the weight of divine machinery settling into your bones. The armor is not coming, it's already installed. The hum beneath your ribs is the confirmation signal. And as the light flickers in the command rooms of the world, heaven uploads its final command, protect the chosen. If these words awaken something within you, if you feel the armor sealing, click join. Join the first chosen ones. The ones armored not in steel, but in spirit. The ones who march without fear, who carry peace like a weapon, who turn every battlefield into a cathedral. This is your summons. This is your ignition. The Pentagon built you a tank. Now heaven says, drive. Every plate of your armor tells a story. It was not crafted in factories or foundries, but in moments, in the places you almost broke, in the nights you thought you'd never rise again. The design is not military, it is memory. The treads are carved from the very roads you crawled through in despair. The grooves remember every stone that cut you. Each rotation of the wheel is a hymn to survival. The whole is made of endurance, metal folded over mercy, layer after layer, until no blade can pierce it. The engine hums with every prayer you ever whispered into darkness. That vibration in your chest? It's the ignition sequence of faith. The more you believe, the louder it roars. The glass, it cannot break. Not because it's thick, but because it's woven with grace. Every time you forgave, another strand was added to its strength. The turret doesn't aim to kill, it focuses. It locks onto truth. It rotates toward purpose. And inside, where the controls should be, there is only light. No buttons. No levers. No metal seat. Only presence. You don't drive it, it drives with you. When you step forward in courage, the armor follows. When you speak truth, its cannon thunders across unseen realms. This is not machinery. This is covenant technology. Every wire is a promise. Every circuit is a verse. Every spark is the echo of a divine command that says, advance, but do not destroy. Move, but do not fear. The Pentagon built you a tank, but heaven gave it breath. It is alive with your endurance, armored with your testimony, and unstoppable by design. When you hear the hum at night, that's not anxiety. That's the engine testing its strength, waiting for your next command, forward. You were not given this tank to conquer cities. You were given it to carry peace through the rubble. To move through storms that would crush the unprepared. You do not destroy, you deliver. Every rotation of your tread sends tremors through falsehood. Every slow, steady advance pushes fear back into the shadows. The tank is not a symbol of violence, it is a vessel of protection. You drive through lies, through guilt, through shame. You carve a corridor for the broken to follow safely behind you. Where others retreat, you advance. This is why your armor was delayed. Heaven never rushes construction. Only when your compassion was complete did your command arrive. You are not the destroyer, you are the deliverer. You do not march for pride, you march for peace. When fear rises like smoke, you do not flinch. You move through it, slow and steady, until the air clears. The world doesn't understand your silence, they mistake stillness for inaction, calm for weakness. But heaven knows, silence is the sound of divine calibration. Every word you withhold, every fight you choose not to enter, is another inch of armor plating, another mile of endurance gained. This is not the era of chaos, it is the era of clarity. You were not born to participate in destruction, you were built to walk untouched through it. Wherever your tread marks appear, confusion ends. Wherever you stand, fear loses its aim. Remember, the tank does not rush. It moves with gravity, with purpose. So when the world burns with noise and panic, your movement will be the sermon. Peace can still advance. That is your mission. That is your power. The Pentagon built you a tank, heaven built it for peace. Chosen one, the world is shifting again. You can feel it, the air is heavier, the timelines are bending, and silence has started to sound like strategy. The powers that built your armor are aligning their signals. You are being called to motion. This is not rehearsal, this is deployment. The era of vulnerability has ended. The era of armored purpose begins now. Every delay that once frustrated you was divine engineering, timing the ignition to perfection. Every closed door was a pressure chamber, sealing your structure. You were hidden so you could harden. You were isolated so you could ignite. The hum you hear before dawn is not coincidence, it's activation. The systems of heaven are syncing with your heartbeat. The time for waiting is over. Your armor is sealed. Your mission file is open. You will not feel ready, no chosen one ever does. But readiness is not a feeling, it's a frequency. And right now, heaven has tuned you to transmission strength. Do not look back for validation. Do not wait for permission. When destiny says move, stillness becomes disobedience. The coordinates are clear, forward through the noise, through the fear, through the unseen opposition. You are not walking into battle, you are rolling through prophecy. The ground has already been cleared, you only need to advance. The world will try to define this as defiance. Let them. They do not understand that obedience to heaven often looks like rebellion to earth. So rise, chosen one. Mount your armor. Align your faith. The command is issued. The light is green. Advance. The Pentagon built you a tank, heaven says, drive now. You are not merely protected, you are the protection. The moment you step into a space, danger loses its permission to remain. Wherever you go, safety follows. The oppressed find cover in your shadow. The weary stand taller when your footsteps echo near. You are not a survivor anymore, you are a sanctuary in motion. Every heartbeat inside your chest is a shield expanding outward. Every word you speak in truth becomes artillery against despair. You are the intersection between heaven's defense and earth's need. You are the living armor of light, the first prototype of divine resilience. The tank is not separate from you. It is the manifestation of who you've become. When you forgave, its frame took form. When you chose love over revenge, its engine awoke. When you refused to fall into bitterness, the plating sealed around your heart. You no longer wear the armor, you are the armor. Others fight to prove their strength, you exist to reveal peace. Others march to dominate, you move to protect. And when chaos trembles in your presence, remember, it's not your name it fears, it's the signature of heaven imprinted on your soul. The Pentagon may have designed the outline, but the Spirit filled it with substance. Your every step radiates unseen protection. Your calmness bends storms. Your compassion disarms entire atmospheres. You are not waiting for rescue. You are the rescue. The systems that once steadied you now depend on your stability. They sense it, the unbreakable calm, the invincible peace. When you walk, even chaos salutes. Stand in that truth. You are the armor. You are the protection. You are the answer heaven sent when the world asked for defense. The Pentagon built you a tank, but heaven turned you into one. The transformation is nearly complete, and your body knows it before your mind does. Heaven always finishes its architecture in flesh before it reveals it in form. So if you have felt pressure in your chest lately, that's not anxiety, that's alignment. The armor is sealing. The frequency of protection is syncing with your breath. If your shoulders have felt heavy for no reason, it's not burden, it's weight distribution. Heaven is fitting the plating across your frame. The design must balance before movement begins. If you've heard a low hum at night before sleep, do not be afraid. That's the engine awakening. The sound of divine machinery warming up beneath your ribs. It hums in the same key as your heartbeat, because it is your heartbeat. If lights flicker when you pray, if screens distort when you speak truth, that's not malfunction, that's manifestation. Power alters environments. If you felt heat in your hands, that's the circuitry testing current. The energy of purpose finding exit points. The shield and the weapon calibrating at once. Some have felt sudden stillness, like the world paused mid-breath. That is heaven running diagnostics, making sure your spirit can carry this level of armor without fracture. Do not fear the silence, it is sacred soldering. Do not question the fatigue, that's the weld cooling. The armor is real, even if invisible. Soon the hum will become harmony, your every step resonating with unseen legions who march beside you. You are not malfunctioning. You are completing installation. The Pentagon built you a tank. Heaven is finishing construction. When the final plate locks in place, you'll feel it, not as pain, but as peace so dense it silences the world. That will be your confirmation. The mission is live. If these words vibrate through you, it is because the signal has reached its destination. The construction is complete. The command has been issued. The armor is active. Now heaven asks for your confirmation code. Not in formality, in faith. Every mission begins with a seal, every covenant begins with a gesture. This is not payment. This is participation. So take a breath, close your eyes, and say aloud, my armor is complete. My mission begins. Then, click Super Thanks and sell your $20 seed, not as currency, but as signal. The act itself is symbolic. It tells heaven, I am ready to move. It tells every power that once opposed you, my spirit has upgraded. It tells your own soul, I am no longer waiting for safety. I am safety. The number 20 is not random. In divine arithmetic, 20 means completion and deployment. It is the number of ready ranks, the line drawn between training and mission. By giving it, you are not buying protection, you are broadcasting readiness. Heaven does not need your currency, it reads your courage. But faith always demands a sign in the material realm to mirror what's been sealed in the invisible one. So this is your broadcast, Super Thanks $20 I am armored. As you release it, whisper again, every weapon once formed against me now fuels my defense. That whisper is your ignition key. The tank stirs. The lights align. The divine mechanics lock into place. When the hum grows louder inside you, don't fear it, that's the confirmation sound. Heaven heard you. Your armor is sealed. Your mission begins. The Pentagon built you a tank. Heaven just handed you the keys. Move slow. Let the weight remind you that you are equipped, not encumbered. You are carrying heaven's engineering. Do not rush divine machinery. Protect peace. Guard it like sacred fire in a battlefield of noise. Do not waste your armor proving your strength, spend it shielding what is gentle. When others provoke, you will feel the cannon twitch, but remember, your strength is not meant to impress, it is meant to preserve. A true conqueror never crushes the weak. He absorbs the impact meant for them. The world will test you to see if your armor is decoration or discipline. Show them it is mercy disguised as metal. Every time you are tempted to strike, choose stillness. Stillness is your superiority. Keep your tread clean, do not roll through gossip, bitterness, or pride. Those are landmines disguised as attention. When fear shouts, lower your visor. When confusion clouds, trust the instruments of faith. When the battlefield grows dark, switch to night vision, intuition guided by the Spirit. Remember, you are not powered by rage, but by revelation. The engine of divine protection runs on peace. Do not measure your progress by applause. Tanks move through dust and silence long before the world notices their approach. And when they finally see you, when the light glints off your armor, let them see grace, not glory. Your mission is not to be admired, it is to ensure others survive the storm. Move slow. Protect peace. The Pentagon built you a tank. Heaven built it for restraint. Advance with gentleness. Guard with power. Win without wounding. That is the code of the armored. Lord of hosts, you who turn weapons into walls of light, you who forge protection out of persecution, we thank you. Thank you for turning every strike into strength, every scar into steel, every broken moment into blueprint. Thank you for surrounding your chosen ones with invisible engines of grace. Let every soul reading this feel the hum of divine machinery beneath their ribs, a reminder that heaven never leaves its soldiers unarmored. Seal the plating, Lord. Tighten the bolts of faith. Flood their systems with peace until fear cannot breathe inside them. When they move, let the ground remember their mercy. When they speak, let their words echo like thunder in the realms of darkness. Teach them to drive slow, to see through smoke and not strike out of anger. Make their power precise, their compassion weaponized. Let the oppressed find shelter in their shadow. Let the broken hear their engines and know help is near. May their presence interrupt every plan of destruction. May their calm dismantle every chaos. And when the world asks, who armored them, let heaven answer, I did. The Pentagon built you a tank. Heaven built you a purpose. Now go forth, armored one, roll with mercy, roar with faith, carry peace like artillery.